Hi, welcome back to Buckeye Gardener Channel. Today is potato harvest day. I think it's August 22nd. I planted these on April 14th and held them on May 30th, and I haven't did anything with them since. The weeds really weren't too bad until just a couple weeks ago. If you remember back in my other videos, these vines were 4 foot tall, biggest potato plants I've ever had. And I was hoping it was doing something in the ground. Well, a couple weeks ago, I dug up 2 plants, and out of 2 plants, I got almost 10 pounds of potatoes. So they really did good this year. I'll show you what we got here. We'll dig them up real quick, weigh them, see what we got, and I'm going to show you how I cure them and store them in the garage here in the house. And we're going to try something new this year. Show you what we'll do. All right, so here's my 3 rows of potatoes that I've got hilled up. You saw in the other videos when I planted them, I had 3 rows there, and I hilled them using that little Manus tiller and how well it worked. They really needed to hill one more time, but you saw in the other videos too how fast they grew. I just didn't get to them. I mean, they grew. I hilled them a week later. I couldn't even get in there to hill them again. So they had a good enough hill though. They did really good so far. So the couple I've dug up. So let's get to digging here. I'll show you what we've got and show you how they did. All right, so a couple weeks ago when I tested a couple of these, the plants were still pretty green. I was able to grab them, rip them up out of the ground, and most of the potatoes come up with them. I didn't have to do hardly any digging. I don't think that's going to be the case today. I let these go a little too long. Like I said, they've completely died back. I've read somewhere where you're supposed to let them die back completely, but they're way easier to dig when they got a little bit of green in them. So let's pull on it and see what happens. I think they're just going to break off. Yeah, they did. All right, so I got my old potato fork here. We're going to do a lot of digging this morning. I come out here early to try to get this done through the 80-some degrees later, but let's see what we got in here. All right. I think we are going to have a huge harvest. I brought my bathroom scale with me. We're going to weigh these later and see what we got. Like I said, if I did this 2 weeks ago, it'd been way easier. All right, I believe that's just one plant. Oh, you can't see them in the video here. I think it's something to show you here. At least the ground's loose. You can pull them out with your hand. That's nice. Man, that's a lot of potatoes. So these were Kennebecks. It's what I usually plant. They always do good here in Ohio. They seem to store pretty well. I'm going to try something new this year. I'll show you here later. I'm going to put a rack in my garage because it stays cooler in there than it does in the basement in the wintertime. It's air conditioned right now, so all those potatoes right here, I believe, came from one plant. So I'm not sure I'm going to have over 100 pounds of potatoes, I'd say. I'm going to dig the rest of them up, and I'll show you when I get done how many we got. And we'll weigh them real quick, see what we end up with. All right, so we got them all dug up here. The row there on the left is actually 2 rows worth. I dug it first, and I dug the middle, and I threw the potatoes there to just make it easier to pick up. There's a good bit here. I'm not sure how much. I got a bunch of milk crates and some other wire crates here. We're going to load them up, take them to the house, weigh them, and I'll show you how I lay them out and dry them in the garage. All right, so we got them all weighed out here. I got 60 pounds in this blue tote, 33 in this one, 31 in this one, and 47 in there. That adds up to 171 pounds of potatoes. I planted roughly 20 pounds. I think it was less. I didn't weigh them, but it was way less than half the bag. I think it's about 20 pounds. We'll just call it 20. That's an 8.5 times yield. I'm really happy with that. Like I said, all I did was when I planted them, I put some, I think it was triple 10 or triple 12, whatever I had. Triple 12 fertilizer in pre-plant when I planted them, and then when I hilled them, I side dressed them when I hilled that up on them. That's the only fertilizer I give them or anything. I didn't give them any water, nothing like that. So they did really good this year. I'm pretty happy with that. 8.5 times yield is pretty good. So pretty excited about that. We'll get them in the garage here. I'll lay them out. I'm just going to lay them on the concrete, I think. I'll show you how I'm going to lay them out. I'll show you the rack I'm going to use to store them once they cure a little bit. I'll give them, I don't know, a few days. I might hang some black curtains over the windows here, keep sunlight out of the garage for a few days till I get them in their storage thing. But let me show you what we'll do there. Okay, so I got them laid out in a single layer here. I just laid them straight on the concrete. I was gonna lay them on cardboard, but I had way more than I expected. So I'm gonna lay these out single row. They're on the concrete. It's air conditioned in the garage here, so it's nice and cool. They're supposed to keep these in a high humidity area, but I don't have anything that fits that description. Most people don't, unless you have an old root cellar somewhere. But so I'm gonna lay these down, put the fan on them, blow some air on them for a couple days. Probably till the weekend. Probably get about 5 days or so. Let them just dry a little bit. It'll heal any of the little spots that get nicked or something in the garden. It'll dry them out good before you put them somewhere to store them. And for storage this year, I've got this wire rack up against this wall. This wall's got dirt on the other side, so it'll stay around 55 or so. That's about the coolest spot I can find for this time of year. I'm going to take some of that weed fabric, put it across the front to keep the light out, and use these baskets. I'm going to keep my onions and potatoes in there. So I've got enough baskets. With 4 baskets of potatoes. I've got 2 more. I'm going to put the onions in. They're ready to come in this weekend too. They've dried out pretty good. So you saw my other video where I harvested them. Had a pretty good harvest. So those are going to store there. Put that weed fabric there, keep the light off, and we're going to give that a try this year, see how it works. All right, so that's our potato harvest for 2023. I'm pretty excited about it. I forgot about the other 10 pounds I dug a couple weeks ago. So if you add that in, I had 181 pounds. That's a 9 times yield over what I planted. So that's pretty good production. So we'll see how they do here drying in the basement. I got a fan blowing on them now, and I blocked the light on the garage door so no light can get into them. It's pretty dark in there. I think they'll be okay. I'll give them till the weekend. I'm off this weekend, so maybe I'll get them put back in that rack and put a piece over that. I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you my onions too. I'll put them in. They seem to be doing okay. I think I should have dug those Walla Wallas. I should have dug a couple weeks earlier. They got kind of mushy. I didn't get to save very many of those. We ate some, but they're not going to store very long at all. But the storage onions, the Patterson, doing good, and most of the candies are doing good. There's a few of them that's a little soft, but not too bad. So I'll show you that when we store that up. But just subscribe, that way you see the next video and stuff. And that's how I did my potatoes. All right, thanks for watching.